Hi, welcome to this week's blog. I'm going to take you back a few weeks to June 26. That was the day that the Supreme Court said that we no longer have a federal definition of marriage. We have a biblical definition of marriage, but we no longer have a federal definition of marriage. It's now recognized on a state level. This is known as D.O.M.A, the Defense of Marriage Act, and they basically ruled that was unconstitutional. I wanted to wait a few weeks before I spoke upon this because I kind of wanted to see the dust settle, and there's a lot of people writing and a lot of people saying things, so I wanted you to have some time to kind of digest it and think about it. And now that we're a few weeks past that, have you realized the damage that could be done through this? What D.O.M.A did, it allowed states to refuse to recognize marriages from other states for same-sex marriage. It allowed states to say, well, we're not going to recognize that. Now, the Supreme Court did not put a 50-state mandate in place, meaning that all states have to rule the same way. So each state can still rule individually. But when you take the definition of marriage and you take it out of play and you say it's no longer recognized by a federal government, what happens? This D.O.M.A, Defense of Marriage Act, was put into place in May of 1996. It was brought before the Congress. It passed both houses. It was signed into law by President Clinton in September of 1996. You have to understand the ramifications of this. It does more than just allow same-sex marriage. It does more than just bring federal benefits to spouses of same-sex marriage. Take the military, for example. Chaplains in the military who would not want to perform a same-sex ceremony, they were able to say, with the protection of D.O.M.A, they were able to say, I refuse to do that ceremony. Well, they've lost that. They can no longer stand behind D.O.M.A. That's been taken away from them. So now as a chaplain in the military, if you're a Christian chaplain in the military and someone asks you to do a same-sex marriage, a civil union, you will have to do that. And if you say, I don't want to do that, they say, then get out of the military. You will no longer have that protection. Our State Department, someone just brought it to my attention recently that, places like in Central America, now our State Department can go to these countries and say, well, unless you put in your constitution, if you allow gay marriage, same-sex marriage in your constitution, if you don't do that, we won't give you funding. The State Department would take away funding. So, Kenya in Africa had that problem with abortion. The State Department kind of put some pressure on them, saying unless you put abortion in place or put it into your constitution, because in Kenya it's in their constitution that they do not allow abortion. With this new decision by the Supreme Court, it will allow the State Department to escalate their efforts in these two different lifestyles, in same-sex marriage and abortions. They can really hold back funding from other third world countries and so on and so forth. And then for the church, now the churches cannot say, that's against our beliefs. We will no longer do that. We won't allow that to happen, because now the government can come in and say, well, we're going to remove your 501c3, your tax exemption, which is really for the people who give money. Your tax exemption will be taken away from you if you don't allow same-sex marriage to happen. So how deep this can go, it will shake the roots of America. The family union is the central figure. It's the foundation of our culture. And when you take that away, what do you have for our nation? Countries like France is no longer, they're removing the term mother and father. It's just called parents. So it can be two guys, two girls, doesn't matter. But France is taking the term mother and father away. They won't be using that term. How much longer until that thinking comes over here? The bathroom bills, which we've talked about extensively. California has passed the law now. Guys can go into the girls' bathroom. So you're losing gender, you're losing marriage, you're losing the foundation of our country. Folks, we need to be praying. We need to be seeking God so heavily right now. D.O.M.A is just the beginning. It's not the end. It's just the beginning. Stay tuned for more. God bless you.